Hello, welcome to another edition of Junkyard Hack. And this episode, what I'm going to discuss is the top of the cylinders. I'm going to show you that I did a leak down test. I'm doing a leak down test on one of the pistons or one of the cylinders. And just trying to determine where the oil burning is coming from this engine. As you know from me driving in here from the previous video, it smokes a lot. And indication is burning oil. So one of the things I want to find out is where the oil is coming from the bottom, from weak rings, or from the top, bad valve guide seals, or somewhere from the head down. If you look at the number one piston here, it's relatively dry, not too much oil on it, just a little carboned up. Number two, not so much. It's got a residue, oily residue on it. Not horrible, but it's got an oily residue in it. This one here, you start to get a little bit more. And then this one here, even more. Now this one, it's the fifth one. It was the worst one from the indication of spark plugs. It had the most oil and junk in it. So I filled it up with automatic transmission fluid to see if I could do a leak down test. Now I've had this in here for about an hour and it hasn't moved, which indicates to me that the rings in that piston, or in that cylinder, rings on that piston are pretty strong. And if you look at that last piston, you'll see, let's see if I can get it in here, it's got a lot of oil in it. I haven't touched that at all. So I'm thinking that all these cylinders were burning oil, save for the first one here. The degree in which they were burning oil is different, but they were all burning oil to a degree. Even this one, I think, a little bit, because it's got a little bit of residue around the edge, not completely dry. I just removed the head and the head gasket from this, so it hadn't had a chance to sit and dry out or anything like that. It wouldn't dry out, but hadn't had a chance to sit. And like I said, it's been about an hour or so. That hasn't moved at all. Now, what I'm going to do is do a leak down test on all the other 5 cylinders, just for basically shits and giggles. So that's what we're going to do. One of the tests I also performed was I wanted to see if there was any end play on the pistons. In other words, when I rotated the engine back and forth, whether there was any lag time. I understand if you get it at top dead, so if you get this piston at top dead center, there's going to be a little bit of lag time between the time it goes down, but it's not going to be halfway mid-stroke. There's not going to be any lag time from top to bottom, and there wasn't on any of the cylinders. So that indicates to me that the wrist pins and the bearings, the rod bearings are pretty good. The main bearings on the crank, I'm not so sure of those, but the rod bearings and the wrist pins seem to be okay. Now, I'm a novice at this, so if anybody sees this and says that I'm wrong, then please explain to me where I'm wrong. I have no problem with correcting what I've said wrong. I don't want to put anything out there that's bad. I'm just basically using common sense. But anyway, this motor is a Chevy 235 cubic inch 6-cylinder. It does not have an oil filter. It's from a 60 model Biscayne. They use this type motor from the 30s all the way up to 1962. This motor was used in vehicles and trucks. This came in a variety of displacements. It started out as a 216, I think, and the largest version of this is a 261, used in trucks and Pontiacs, I think, or something like that. Base model Pontiac sedans or what have you. So that's where we stand right now. One of the next things I want to do too is I want to crack the side of it open, and also while I have it down at this far, I want to check the lifters, see what kind of shape the lifters are in. From the indication of there's the old head. From the indication of the push rods, there's no bent push rods or anything, which is a good thing. And just if you see this, this is my way to keep these push rods in order. And when you take push rods out of an engine, you always want to make sure they're in order and they correspond to the lifter, tappet, I want to say, but tappet, lifter, whatever. So you correspond to the lifter that it goes to. Everything has to correspond in an engine. You know, one thing that works together has to go back the same way. I don't know what I'm saying here, but you know what I mean. Anyway, that's all the video for today. Not really that interesting. Just a little bit of progress on the Biscayne. A little bit more testing, and I'm going to run a number of tests on this engine. And if it should fail any one of these tests, then I'm going to stop and pull the motor out at this point. I have a new head to go on, but we're not going to do that unless it passes all these tests. And that's it. So have a great day. Oh yeah, and happy Father's Day.